Hey guys, Mark Ferrasci, Pro-Tech Dog Training, and Jackson that's back here barking his head off. Mr. Very highly suspicious, aggressive dog that Tina took in rescue. She's done pretty good with him individually, but he's probably going to still be a liability out in public no matter what you do. I've got D.O.G is the name of the dog. I named him D.O.G. He's another male that came over from that litter. So I've got Lucifer and D.O.G, and we've got Diana. Diana's already sold. Diana's going to be going special to a guy in New York that's parole officer is going to be using him out on the street and letting her hang out with him now and then, I'm sure, when he's got a certain job, hopefully. So we're going to be doing gun dog work with her. In other words, explosive, basically. You're using the same thing, gunpowder, brass, that kind of thing. And then the dog will pick up on the scent from solvents and other things that are used to clean the guns. And the dog can actually smell the metal a little bit too, so the metal's involved as well. But they'll do that. I'll imprint the dog here on brass and on gunpowder, and that'll be her first experience, and basically teach her to put her nose into a hole, that kind of thing, and imprint her. I'll be doing that a little bit later this week. It takes 4 hands. It takes 2 people to do that. This is the male, this is D.O.G. Now, that I told you that other friend of mine has one of the other males as well, and he's a working dog trainer. He's been around the canines for a long time, a lot of years. He's pretty knowledgeable, but he doesn't ever keep anything. He's a dog broker, and so he plays with, he's into the genetics, he's into the breeding, he's into, because that's what he does, he's a dog broker. So this is what really gets his head in. So the first thing we found out of this litter, and keep in mind that breeding is nothing more than a crapshoot. You can do the best you can to study bloodlines and to think you've got it all wired, and ooh, that's a Tommy son, and you end up with a litter that doesn't match, because a male and a female, that's just something about those little pollywogs, they've got to match and come out. You never know what you're really going to get. So all you can do is, if you do the right thing, is observe the dogs and set back. If you had a really good breeding program, I've got dreams of what it would be cool to be able to do one of those breeding programs like the Seeing Eye Dogs did. And I know that there's another facility, it's a working dog facility up the way here, that he's doing the foster program with the puppies, and actually taking the litters of puppies and fostering them out for a year or so, and then having them come back in and test them to be able to put them on the street as police dogs. I think that's a great, admirable thing to do. You're really going to get a better idea of how the dogs are going to work, what they're going to do, and then when they're in a family situation, as long as you guide the family and have them coming in to get periodical looks and then give them some counseling on how to raise those puppies properly, you're going to do real good. So it's interesting to see how that breeding program goes. He's got some really good working lines. I won't talk about the lines he's got, but he's got some awesome bloodlines. And then with the foster program, that's pretty cool. So putting it together and getting it to work and having a really good breeding program has not done as much in America as we should. You know, this is the sort of thing that we should do to really increase the quality in our bloodlines and really be able to hone in on what's good and what's bad and what you're getting thrown, you know. And for us, in our little experiment that we're doing breeding-wise, this last litter we had 11 puppies. And the gentleman that has the bitch is working a regular day job. He's a butcher by trade, and he's working his ass off coming home and scooping, and he's dealing with 11 of these little piranhas. Okay, so with me, when I do something with my litters, specifically where I've got my hands on them from birth all the way up, I'm always paying attention to the puppies, and I'm grabbing the ones that I think are good, and I'm going out and playing with them and doing my thing. I've got to get a little bit more. I've got a little bit more knowledge base in that regards, right? And I've got my mental attitude is in the animals and how they're developing. So it's been tough knowing that, you know, he's dealing with the busy lifestyle and the puppies aren't getting the exact thing that they need. It's not that it's bad, but at the same time. So these males that came back seem to be a little flat. In other words, in my estimation and what my friend wants and the quality of dogs that I want, we want these high drivey type dogs that we can really start to do some things with. And the males have been flat. So I generally, when I use food as my motivator, I basically take hot dogs and I rob the dog of a meal the night before, and then I work him the next morning, and I don't do that every day, every other day or something. And so then I'm doing that, and I go tease, and the dog, their want comes up for that food, and I never seem to have too much of a problem. With these guys, they've been flat. So what do? So you start going into your Rolodex of other things that are used and other ways of doing things. So what I've decided to do is to go ahead and take the food, mix it up in the morning, and mix it with hamburger that's got a fat content. You know, if you know most hamburger has a certain amount of fat content. Put it in there. You put water in. You really make it kind of mushy, and put it in with a kibble, and then put it in the refrigerator. Now it's going to get cold. It's going to get clumpy, and you have something to work with. And you're looking like David Croyer, where you have the food and you can clump it. Now, this morning I screwed up, so you got to come up with a pre-planned way of doing this, so that you have it just like if you were going to go on a diet and you put all the food in little containers and you only regulated yourself to what you're eating out of that, and you've got to think ahead, right? Well, this is the same kind of thing. So I've got to mix the food. Last night I didn't take hamburger. I'm just starting this. I didn't take the Chubba hamburger out and make sure it was thawed so I can mix it this morning, right? Or I could have mixed it last night and let it sit in the refrigerator, and it would have been nice and perfect for me for this morning. So I've got to get my routines and my patterns set up to be able to do this. That's the thing. It's the reason that I don't feed raw, because I've got so many dogs that if I fed raw, I've got to have a huge old refrigerator, a freezer. I've got to maintain and handle that meat. I've got to be able to do it because I've got a lot more dogs, right? So that's why I don't feed raw food. It's the only reason is convenience, right? So in this case, we're making kibble, and I've wetted it down. This morning I put chicken in it, and I'm basically going to feed the puppies out of my hands their rations. So the only thing they're getting for food is me. So my goal here is to bring up the drive and the want for the food, right? And then make everything come from me, which is going to change the dog's mental attitude, because I am the matriarch. I am the one that's bringing the dog food all the time. The only place he's getting food is out of my hand, right? So this trick and this method is being used all over the place. David Croyer uses it every day. He's feeding those dogs out of his hand. Repetition, 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 building those behaviors that he wants in the sports that he's going after with Schutzen or ring sport or whatever he's playing with, right? But he has a set way of conditioning the animal, set way of dealing with the dogs and managing their food source, which only comes out of his hand when he's working with these dogs, right? So I've never used this method before because I haven't felt the need to be able to have to do that. But with these guys, I'm just kind of experimenting. I'm playing. I'm putting something together that this will be my first experience with it. And I'm looking to see where's the difference in the dog's mental attitude, in the work. Does it bring up drive? What does it do for me? And I'm going to, it's an experiment. And it's something I'm pretty good at. You've got to just step back and kind of analyze and put it together and get it to work for you. So that's what we're doing now. This is D.O.G. I've wanted to name a dog D.O.G. for the long time. When I was a kid, somebody had a dog named D.O.G. and I kept looking at him, D.O.G., what kind of name is that for a dog? And he stopped and he went, D.O.G. dog. It's D.O.G. and it sounds great. It's a great sounding name, and I've always wanted to. So I named this little guy that just came in last. This last male that I'm going to play with. I've got 3 of them now. Diana's already gone, and these 2 are available. Remember that. We got D.O.G. and we've got Lucifer, and they're both available to qualified buyers that want working dogs and want to do something with their animals, right? All right, so I am now only feeding out of my hand, and I've got enough food in a bowl to feed 3 dogs. So I've got the ration set, and I've got my bag all set up here with a plastic bag in here because it's kind of a wet mess, but so it'll be a more of a moist type of a clumpy stuff, and this is what we're using. So let's see how D.O.G. does. D.O.G., good boy, come on, baby. This is his 3rd day here, and he didn't have much food drive at all at first. Mental attitude was a little different because he was a little older when he got let loose out of the with his other brothers and sisters. And that large pack of 11 dogs, a lot of piranha attitude, all hitting the fence, and their stimulation from the pack was really causing a totally different thing. So it's taken me a couple days to get him to kind of get into me. Good boy, D.O.G. Good. Yep. Yep. Good. Good. Boy. And I notice he's real ravenous after the food, obviously, because this is food time. This is what it'll turn into, pattern and routine, right? We're building on that. So that's what you want to do. You want to set up that pattern and routine that's going to work for you. Good. I'm not using a clicker right now. He has no clue. I'm more interested in this end of the food, but we'll start using clicker. Good boy, good. He's going after the hand, but he's not really luring into a sit yet. So the reason I'm doing this again is the males are a little flat in their food drive, okay? So we're going to see how this changes the dog's mental attitude, and if their drive comes up tremendously for the food, which it should, because now he's going to be hungry every time I go to do this. I feed puppies at this age, but 10 weeks old, 11 weeks old, they're going to get fed 3 times a day. until they're about close to 4 months of age, and at 4 months I'll drop them twice a day, right? So this will be their food time. Every time they come out, their mental attitude is going to be into eating, and I'm sure this is going to change their mental outlook on me and what I do for them. So that's what we're after here. He has no clue, and this is going to take a little time to get him set to do these behaviors. He doesn't know what a clicker is yet. He will. And this will cause me to be out here a little longer than I normally would, because I want to feed him everything out of this bag, because I want to make sure he gets his nutrients and gets the right portion, right? So I put in what I think is a meal into this bag, and we're set. And you can measure it. You can get real specific if you wanted to. The more you drill down on that sort of thing, the better you're going to do. I just don't do it that way. I eyeball everything when it comes to puppies and even dogs eating and stuff. I look at their stomachs and I say, how are they doing? And he's going to put this clicker together with time here. His brain hasn't figured out clicker means yes, that's what the right answer is, right? Good. 2 and 2 always adds up to 4. The right answer is clicked when you do the right thing. Good. Good. I'm going to treat the top of the table as a food bowl right now. Good. And work on my duration marker, right? Good. And normally if this would have been prepped right, it would have been a little bit more clumpy and stayed in. Now it's just kind of spread out. It's all right. A little bit more of a mess to work with, but that's all right. Good. And all I'm doing is using this to load that good marker, right? Good. 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 And it works pretty well when he's hungry. Good. I already see a difference in mental attitude. Good. Good. D.O.G? Yep. Come on, yep. Good boy, good. Yay. Good boy. Come on, let's go. Yay, good boy, D.O.G. Good. I think they're about 11 weeks old now. Somebody correct me for the age. They were born May 17th. So if you want to look on a calendar and figure it out, go for it. You can put it in the comments for me, would you? Good dog, good. I'd like you guys to get a lot more active with your comments and interaction with me. And it's a lot of fun when I know that people are watching and I see the numbers. I know there's a lot of, I get anywhere from 100, 150 on a video, depending on the time. Some of them go really long. That one I did showing you all the puppies, man, I got a good 200 hits on that one. There's people that are interested in it, but nobody jumps for it and wants to get one for themselves, I guess, which I understand. Yay. Nope. Some just watch all these videos just for knowledge. Other people want to just enjoy it, and that's why they call it entertainment. And the ones that do the best are the ones that do the great job with their digital magic sound and really put together a good production. And you can't blame folks because we're conditioned for that from a very young age, watching TV and everything comes at us with all this digital magic, right? And then the YouTube comes along and some of us have a little bit better ability to play with the digital magic than others. I've always wanted to be able to get really good at it. I got to find people that are into that want to learn about dog training maybe. I got one gentleman that came up recently and he's a web page designer. So he's going to do a web page for me. He's working on that now. And he's also going to come up a little bit and help me with my imprinting on the scent work with his puppy. Come up later in the week. Maybe you'll see him on film, but it's kind of cool to be able to see other people that have an interest in it, that have skills that I may need, and I can help them learn. I can help him learn. He's got a nice dog, pet quality, but she's a good dog, and he loves her. And that's what counts, right? Come on, loving your animal, huh? Yeah, come on, baby, come on. There you go. Come on, let's go. All right, good. All right, so he's getting a little bit finicky about the food. He didn't get his full meal. He's probably about half his meal, and I'm going to let him shut down on purpose, because when I take him and put him away, he's going to realize real quick that he didn't get his meal. He'll get fed again when he comes out again. I fed him like this 3 times yesterday, and then I gave him a closing meal in a bowl at the end of the night. So they all got their daily ration, but yay. So we're just working this out. All right, Mark Ferrasci, Protect Dog Training with D.O.G. I'm going to bring out another one.